Okay, I'd like to call the April 4th, 2022 Long Hill Township Board of Education meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Long Hill Township Board of Education was given as required by the Open Public Meeting Act as follows. Notice was sent to the Echo Sentinel and Daily Record on September 21st, 2021. Notice was posted on the bulletin board in the first floor entrance of the School District Administration Building, Gillette, New Jersey. Notices were filed with the Township Clerk, and notices were mailed to all persons who have requested individual notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Butler.
Here.
Mrs. Daly.
Here.
Mr. DeJamos.
Here.
Mr. DeGiorgio.
Here.
Mr. Grosskopf.
Here.
Mrs. McLennan. Ms. Nyquist.
Here.
Ms. Ruvalo.
Here.
Mrs. Case.
Here.
8 members present.
Communications, I do not have any. Dr. Mucci? No. Okay. Board committee and liaison reports. I'm going to start with Karen.
Okay. Last week, although it wasn't a regular meeting, we had a special meeting of the Morris County Ed Services Commission to approve the purchase of Park Lake School. The cash purchase we had mentioned previously will close in less than 30 days. With respect to policy, you'll see a number of items on the agenda this evening. The one dealing with discipline, what has been added is information regarding the definition and situations that can be classified as hazing, which is now going to be handled under that. Special ed, there's clarifications of some items that were not quite up to snuff, as well as limits on some of the expenditures. Face coverings are updated to reflect the change because we no longer have that mandate, but there's guidance for how it should be monitored to make sure that if it's changed, that we're up to date on that. Dealing with home instruction, we clarified that a parent or responsible adult must be present. Before, there was some ambiguous language that Danielle pointed out, so that, you know, we cleared that up. And we're deleting the remote policy because it's not required anymore. The guidelines that govern our utilization of remote instruction are handled in the guidelines for the return back, etc. So we don't need that policy anymore. And it was also clarified as just other, so it doesn't have to be on our books. Our next meeting is going to be April 14th because the regular next meeting would have been during spring break, so we moved it up a week. For governance, I know you got emails requesting whether you could attend something in July 18th, etc. However, forget that. We're back to July 11th. We're having our retreat, and we're having a board meeting after that. Okay. Danielle is exceptionally happy, as we are, that we have 100% concurrence or completion of the financial disclosures, and it's 1 month ahead of schedule. She's very excited about that.
Oh, Adele.
Adele.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Danielle's also excited.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I meant Adele. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Danielle came on and she
That's why I didn't say anything. She called me up. She said, "You make sure." No.
Okay. All right. The CSA evaluation. I think Kim forwarded everybody. You know, the schedule. You know, it's not exact dates, but you have an idea of when things are going to be happening. I think hopefully you all received what I forwarded you from the seminar that I attended, you know, the webinar that I attended. For, you know, you can just read the view graphs. You have 2 options: to actually see the presentation or to just read through the view graphs. For those of us that have been through it, even though I've been through it many times, I just found it good to hone up on, you know, some of the specifics about how you identify things to be reported and, you know, how you clarify what things are reported in what categories, etc. I thought it was a very crisp presentation. It's 45 minutes, but let me tell you, there's no fluff. They just keep, you know, banging it out. I also understand, in line with the CSA schedule for the evaluation, I understand that Dr. Mucci and Kim have already had their pre-evaluation conference. Okay. Now, what we have is a question. We're going to move ahead in terms of additional training for the board, and we're looking for additional governance training, and we're going to follow the workbook of the book that's being circulated, etc. And obviously, Charlene is going to be leading us. We must have a leader in order it to be counted as a training hour or credit for us. So there are several dates in May that she is available to do this. Now, I say May because she can't do it for the June board meeting. She can't. July board meeting is our retreat. She'll be here for the retreat. We're not going to do the two things at the same time. The other thing that was pointed out by Dr. Mucci is if we could get this done before the evaluation is due and before we have the retreat, the idea of the governance and goal setting, et cetera, kind of like is a good lead in and gets us in the right mindset. So with that, can you all pull out your calendars?
I did it.
Okay, because we're gonna vote tonight on, or we're gonna decide, we're gonna have a special meeting and it will just be 1 hour for this training. Okay, May 3rd. I'll do it by the exception. Who could not do May 3rd?
At what time?
We could do it, well, that's another thing. There are several people that work, and traffic, traveling, et cetera. Is 5:30 an acceptable time?
If we could do later, that would be,
How about 6, you want 6:30? We could do
if it
6:30?
works with everybody.
All right, let's do 6:30.
I can do
Because I gotta tell you,
I have to cut off
Charlene,
at 7:30.
I'm sorry?
I could do 6:30, but I'd have to cut off at 7:30 because I'll be back in this seat for another board.
No, well, it's gonna be only 1 hour.
Okay.
So, right now, do I stop here because does it look like everybody can do May 3rd?
Well, we don't have Katie's vote, but.
Oh, well,
maybe
that's
she
true.
could
All
be-
right, we need 7 for it to count.
Okay.
All right, you know what? Let me do this. Let me give you all the dates
So you could cross them out, maybe?
and see which, May 3rd, 4th, 5th, 12th, 17, and 19. Those are the dates Charlene is available. So technically, any of those dates that we can get 7 or more members, we can have the training.
Can you repeat them one more time, please?
Sure.
3rd, 4th, 5th.
3, 4, 5, 12, 17, 19.
I believe the 17th is the Millington Chorus concert. Now, that may have changed, but I would be a no for that day.
It wasn't on the
It's late.
calendar, I just checked.
It may not be. I mean, how it got in my calendar may be a mystery.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no to the 19th.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
We could chat.
I'm completely open on the 12th.
Post the 12th is very difficult
Okay.
for me.
So we
Okay.
The 12th and
But
post.
we cut out 2.
So what's not, so,
Third, fourth, 5th, third, that week is,
okay.
So we might be back. Was the 3rd the one that was okay? Because I'm going to
Yes.
cancel the 5th.
All right.
we just
You know
push
what,
for the
we
3rd?
can go back, everybody, if everybody is
Yeah.
okay with the 3rd.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
And Katie and I, we have the community relations meeting at 2 that day, so,
What am I, what?
and Tom, sorry. And I think, I mean, I can't speak for her, but, she's available in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I will be calling Charlene tomorrow, saying that we're gonna have the meeting at 6:30 on May 3rd.
And there's planning board that night? Because we just have to ask for permission for the building, too.
Oh,
We do
okay.
6:15, so
I'm sorry?
why wouldn't,
6:15.
could we do 6:15 so there isn't such a
Sure.
hard overlap?
Like I told you, Charlene is open. She's very accommodating, and she's open all, and the reason why she's really trying to bend over is because she unfortunately had a schedule conflict tonight. We were supposed to have, the governance meeting tonight. So she's, like I said, being very flexible and very open about this. So 6:15, May 3rd, only that. We will not do anything else, only that training.
Okay, and we'll, I'll have Adele do when you let me know, I'll have Adele do the public notice,
Right.
and we will also reach out to the borough to reserve the space.
Great. And with respect to governance, because the regular schedule would have put us again in spring break, our next meeting will be April 13th. So that's it.
Any questions for Karen? No? Danielle?
Yes, I do have the Community Relations Report. We met on March 29th, and we discussed the Preschool Advisory Committee that Dr. Mucci is going to be putting together, the committee to discuss, or with stakeholders from the administrators, teachers, parents, and community to discuss the pre-K program now and how to address the concerns for a growing community as well as the potential for universal pre-K. We also discussed the Green Team, Sustainable Schools. Dr. Mucci is creating a team with, it so far consists of Dr. Mucci, Dan Borgo, Mark Persina, Andrew Nestler, as well as other administrators, staff, and community members to create goals and execute on requirements so that we can apply for those different levels of certifications. And lastly, we went over our community goals and for the Community Relations Committee. I did want to go ahead and add for Katie that the Long Hill Education Foundation is holding a family fun day fundraiser at the Sterling Hotel on Sunday, May 1st. And that will be from 1 to 4 p.m. and tickets can be purchased now through April 18th on longhillfor.org. And there is an item for the town that I just wanted to mention that they have their annual Long Hill Township Easter egg hunt this Saturday, sharp at 10 a.m. And it's at the Cantor Field. And then our next meeting will be May 3rd.
And if anybody wants to know, the Easter Bunny is going to be somebody we're all familiar with and know well.
Peter Cottontail.
Renee Rovdar.
Okey-dokey. Any questions for Danielle? Ann?
The Student Achievement and Curriculum Committee met on Wednesday, March 23rd. It was myself, Kim Case, Tom Grosnoff, and Katie McLennan who attended along with Dr. Jones, Dr. Mucci, and a special appearance by Mrs. Minerva, the reading specialist in the district. I'll start with the preschool update because it does go with what Danielle was just telling us from Community Relations. So the district does have a projected enrollment for kindergarten, which gave them some concrete numbers then to look at the preschool conversation for next year. So as I had updated in the past, there was an exploratory look as Millington as an option to address some spacing issues. But now that the district has specific numbers for the kindergarten classes, and that also allows them to account for special education needs for Gillette School, the district was able to consolidate space and gain one room in Gillette School, which is going to allow them to further maximize space. And as a result, they will be able to keep the preschool program at Gillette for next year. There still will be a situation with the schedule where specials will be sharing rooms as needed, but not at the same time. So if STEAM is using the multipurpose room, it's at a time where gym is not meeting, and so on. And then to Danielle's point, the district will be convening a preschool advisory group, and there will be opportunities for parents to participate. And the goal of that is to look at the program, as Danielle said, for next year. For next year, we are unable to run an additional pre-K 4 class. There was some interest, but we're going to maintain the current levels for preschool. But the goal for this preschool committee would be to present recommendations for the following school year so that we can plan accordingly. All the other conversations, Ms. Minerva just presented us with an update of celebrating a nation of diverse readers and Read Across America, which was in March. There were Spirit Week events, a variety of genres. The theme was carried across the various curriculum areas. They had guest readers in each of the classes. They had virtual authors in some classes. Family reading night at Gillette, which was one of my favorite events as a parent. And the fifth graders read to the second graders as a special event, and other events that, and opportunities in the classroom that I'm sure I didn't detail. It sounded wonderful. We had update with the K-4 science curriculum that the district is investigating, what would be the best needs for the district next year. So there was a presentation from who in Mifflin, thank you, I pronounced it correctly, formerly Pearson, into science program. And the committee looking at this, this change is made up of special education teachers, regular education teachers, interventionists, and child study team members, along with administration. And there will also be a presentation from Amplify on the next week, I believe. So we will get an update from those presentations and recommendations for the science program, as these meetings are held. We had an update on the development of the youth and entrepreneurship curriculum, which is basically turnkey presentations at Millington by Ms. Morris, Ms. Rodriguez, and Ms. Fitzsimmons to the faculty at faculty meetings. We had an update on the Gifted and Talented program, exciting. We had in the K-5 superhero design contest, 2 students won the contest. And then we also have an upcoming spring event coming for the Gifted and Talented, so there will be details. At Central School, students are working on the Lincoln-Douglas debate, and there was a good turnout and participation for this program. And I have a quick PTO update. So this is really important for parents with high school students or people who know high school students. The Long Hill PTO will award $2,000 scholarships to Watchung Hill Regional High School graduating seniors who also attended Central Middle School. Applications are found on the Watchung Hill Regional High School counseling website and are due by April 29th. The next PTO general meeting is Wednesday, April 13th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Everything, including the link, is posted on the PTO page on the district website. Millington School is participating in Pennies for Puppies fundraising from today through April 13th to benefit the Seeing Eye in Morristown. Instructors and the Seeing Eye Puppies and Dogs in training from the Seeing Eye Institute will be visiting the school this week with 2 assemblies. Long Hill's Got Talent is on April 28th. Tickets are sold out, so that's exciting. They're looking forward to honoring our staff for Staff Appreciation Week during the first week of May. And on their special grade level events, Field Days and Millington Book Fairs are being planned for May and June. Thank you to the staff and to the PTO volunteers for collaborating to make these days so enjoyable and educational for our students. And that's me done.
You need some water?
I need some water. Did I go fast?
No?
Does anyone have questions for Ann? Should we make a note to ask the town about the audio, like what's going on with this audio?
The feedback, is it just me?
No, it's not just you.
Okay.
It's either a computer or cell phone too close to the microphones.
Oh, as I'm reading off the phone?
No, I don't
maybe?
think it's just you.
Well, I think you did move it. It did hear a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other people are always.
Oh, okay.
You'll do it at different times depending on what your cell phone's
Yeah.
computer's doing at the time.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we know.
Matt?
The finance meeting committee met, and Ed and I went over all the bills. Everything's in perfect order. So kudos to the admin team. The switching of roles, they did a perfect job on it. A little change in the procedure, how it works, a little learning on our side, but it's going to end up working really well. So everyone, please vote yes on agenda item number 2, the financials.
What changed? You told me.
Change on just how they print out the bills and how we
Oh,
check it.
okay.
More
Last time
consolidated,
Tiffany
right.
went through, and the last couple of months is just, you could have one bill that has
Yeah.
5 different categories. So
Right.
you would have to go to 5 different places and check it out. And then Tiffany found out that you can go to Excel or download the information to Excel and do it in PO order. So like all the numbers just matched up perfectly.
Okay.
So you don't have to do as much calculation. And now
We're going by check
Adele
number
is doing by
order.
check number. She's bringing her
Okay.
experience from, she did that exclusively at her prior job.
At Harding, yep.
And Gordon, and she's just doing it differently, and it's just, instead of alphabetical, it's in order, and it just
Yeah.
makes
There's a
sense.
slight adjustment, but
When I used to check the bills at more, the Ed Services, that's the way we did it.
by check number?
By that way, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I didn't know it was
so
different.
everything's working well.
Questions for Matt? Okay, Tom?
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Alex?
Thank you. The Buildings and Grounds Committee had a meeting on Friday, April 1st. No April Fools, but thank you, Dr. Mucci, and Adele Valentin, and Mark Brasina, and of course, our very own Karen Nyquist for attending. I'll run through these fairly quickly. There's a pending PO for Phase 3 of the window repair project, which would repair approximately 160 windows. There's relighting of Central School's multipurpose room that's awaiting a contractor, but we're hoping that sometime in mid-April that'll be addressed. There's a meeting took place with the Shade Tree Commission about tree pruning and removal to identify any sort of trees and limbs that needed to be trimmed back for safety and other reasons. That seemed to have gone fairly well, and there's a PO completed in order to accomplish that, that exterior maintenance. Gillette School parking lot and playground will ideally be resurfaced during the spring break. And there will be some communications with our neighbors at the senior center in order to make sure that there's communication going on with them as to shared parking lot use. There is a custodial maintenance contract out for bid, and there is apparently 3 contractors who were interested and did a walkthrough of our facilities with, I don't know if it was Dan or Mark, but I believe that with Mark. There is a building relighting project that we had kind of discussed before as part of financial savings and energy savings programs that's projected for the spring 2022 as well. And the capital projects that we have on board for the next year for the 22-23 time period would include, as we've reported before, Millington fire alarm upgrades, which are out to bid, Millington Central Lavatory renovations, which are out to bid, and exterior brick and waterproofing repairs that need to be made. One bright spot is that the emergency generators were serviced, I think, the day before. There was a power outage that affected most of the town, so that was great timing, good fortune, and none of our schools experienced, to my knowledge, the power failure that some other residents and businesses in town had experienced. But there is some rewiring or electrical work in order to extend that backup emergency service to some, let's say, offices and classrooms within the building that were discovered not to have been serviced by the backup. So that is my quick report. Any questions? Sorry, that's your job.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Melissa?
Yes, so there was a Zoom meeting for the CPAG group, which is the Special Education Parent Advisory Group, that was held on Wednesday, March 23rd. It was at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And the purpose of this meeting was to discuss the transitions from preschool to kindergarten, and first grade in Gillette to second grade at Millington, and fifth grade at Millington to sixth grade at Central. And the purpose of that meeting was to discuss the programs that the staff has in place to support these transitions and to give anyone the opportunity to ask questions. There is a save the date. So they're asking for 7th and 8th grade parents to save the date to join the next CPAG meeting, which would be on Wednesday, May 4th at 7 p.m. And this one would be held in person at Watchung Hills Regional High School. It would involve all the sending districts to the high school, and it would discuss the transition for special education from central to high school.
Very nice.
Okay. Questions for Melissa? No. Okay. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening or tuning in. Thank you to the Board of Education for being so dedicated to our committee work and providing such detailed reports. Dare I say, when I saw all the kids out playing baseball and softball today, this afternoon, it felt like a lovely, normal spring day. So we are super excited about that. It was very enjoyable to see our Central Middle School students stage Matilda Jr. this past weekend. The sets were all created by the students. The students also ran the soundboard and did a nice job with that. And all of course, the performances were outstanding, and over 200 attendees to both performances. And before the performances on Friday and Saturday, the students performed a teaser, a piece of the play for our fifth graders, which they thoroughly enjoyed. So we were glad to have that tradition back. We are enjoying welcoming more visitors back to our school in general. We're grateful to the PTO for their continued support and most recently bringing the Dragon King, which was an impressive marionette show to our Gillette students. They had some incredibly detailed jellyfish and dragons and amazing characters. But what really hit us when we had the students in watching it was, for many of our Gillette students, that was their first ever school assembly, even though they may have been in Gillette for 2 years. So it was an exciting day. There was a lot of awe, and the students were extremely well behaved, receptive. The people who were running the program afterwards just said how delighted they were and how impressed they were by our students to be so young and to really be engaged and ask good questions and stay focused during the whole presentation, which was really wonderful. So that was thanks to the PTO. Thank you, Danielle, for mentioning about the Long Hill Education Foundation fundraiser. We're looking forward to Family Fun Day on Sunday, May 1st, and we already have started executing some of the orders for the great things that the Ed Foundation has gotten us with their grants for each school. So it's really an exciting time. Thank you also for mentioning that we're excited about being in Cantor Park this weekend, 10 a.m. sharp, for the visit of Peter Cottontail and our Easter egg hunt. And again, there's going to be a petting zoo, pony rides. These are things that, wonderful traditions that our students have been missing. So we're delighted, and the rain date from this Saturday would be next Saturday. Long Hill Talent, that was also on my list, sold out and very excited. Through a partnership with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, All Saints Episcopal, First Presbyterian of Sterling, and Myersville Presbyterian churches, together they provide a free and confidential food pantry on the first and third Saturday of each month from 10 to noon. 12 Baskets Food Pantry serves children, families, senior citizens. They also make deliveries to the VA hospital and VA agencies. And the pantry is stocked with some wonderful fresh produce, seasonal items, and a wide variety of shelf-stable foods. So when it's available on the first and third Saturday of the month, it's at All Saints Church, and asking that everybody share this information if you know a family who may benefit from this service. Information like the food pantry and other things that we do are generally in our Friday flyers, so we encourage you to take a look at those. And also, if you're a community member who wants to know more about our schools, but you may not have children in the school yet, or your children have graduated from the system, you can use the email button on our homepage to opt in. And it's really exciting. That number actually is growing every week. And we're beginning to reach people outside of the community in larger numbers. And we love having them connected to our schools. In terms of items I'm recommending to the board this evening, they're all related to either providing additional services for students where needed, some Springfield trips, and a few routine personnel items. So nothing to go into more detail in than what's on the motions themselves. So thank you for that.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Mucci? All right, interim business administrators update.
Good evening. Tonight for approval, we have our financial bills, our financial reports, and our bill list. To date, we are having a very, very strong year financially. We're in good shape. Our encumbrance, everything to this point has been encumbered or means a promise to pay. So when you look at our financials, everything that we anticipate to spend between now and June 30th is pretty well booked, unless something comes up after that fact. I'm excited that we're finally entering into agreement with PSE&G. It's on our agenda this evening to replace all the lights throughout the district in the very near future. There'll be all LED lights, so no more fluorescents, no more changing lights, diffusers. It's a good thing for the district, every classroom, every space throughout the district. In total, it'll take us 5 years to pay back for the cost of that construction. That's done through PSE&G as part of their energy efficient program at 0% interest. When all is said and done after the 5 years, the district will save $60,000 or $12,000 per year. So we're getting new lights, paying for the lights with the savings. The savings are going to generate more than we have to pay, to the tune of $12K per year. And this is totally unrelated to the rooftop units and any of the HVAC work that we'd like to improve. That will be a separate project. The only difference is, instead of receiving a 60% rebate, it'll be 55% rebate. So for the 5%, to make sure that we are doing things exactly right, we wanted to try to break it down into two components to get better lighting, and then secondly, then we'll work on our all of our rooftop units. To piggyback on Mr. DeJamos's information on our facilities meeting, we are vehemently working to try to get our central middle school sign by Memorial Day.
Yeah, we want to have it look very nice for the parade.
Right, so we're trying, that's a top priority on my list from Dr. Bucci. And prior to COVID, I guess Gillette purchased a sign that we will now be installing within the next month. White display sign, very, very nice. It was down in our storage room. So we are streamlining the process. We're going to have the police come over to see where we place it so there's no obstruction to traffic, egress, everything. It will be in point. Well, if you see some construction with a wood board, we're just going to simulate how that sign will look outside and then move it accordingly. So if you see it, that's in fact what we're doing. We've been in contract with our garbage contractor, with the garbage truck coming alongside the children at Gillette in the mornings. Thank you, Alex. So we spoke with them twice, and hopefully it will not happen again. One other project that'll be done during the summer is we're going to be resurfacing all of our gym floors. So that'll be done in conjunction with all the items that you described prior to the fire extinguisher, the fire alarm system, and the bathrooms. The rest of those projects are with $21, $22. So it's a real good thing that we're knocking off a lot of these items that have been overlooked for a couple of years, and just trying to get caught up, and a lot of work in the next couple of months. You'll be seeing a lot of people in district, a lot of trees coming down, all approved by the shade tree. So a lot of pruning.
Very important.
So, very important. So we're following all of our procedures, and we're excited about the next couple of months. Ball fields are in pretty good shape, and we want to improve them a little bit more.
At the planning board, you guys have been very good about contacting the planning board when it's necessary.
Yes, yep. It's all inclusive. We work collectively, hopefully together, and if we need something expedited, if you extend the courtesy, you usually get it back.
I don't understand. I don't know about. I never heard about a sign from Gillette. What is that?
It's a
Like a marquee?
it's a marquee.
front of the
It was
building.
purchased about, I would say, over 20 months ago.
Okay.
And as we were going through our storage area, we found it and pulled it out. It's beautiful. They were aware of it in the main office. I guess after 20 months may have slipped some of our minds, and then we found the lettering. So it's going to be very, very nice. It's white. It's pristine. It'll really have a nice upgrade to the entrance to the front of our school.
Okay.
Dan, in terms of I've been on the board several years now, but we haven't made as much progress as we have, in the last year. For all the things that we're doing, like, what sort of playbook do we have, or how do we memorialize some of these things? Like, if you're going to do the gym this year, when's the next time to do it? In 3 years? Like, how do you create some systemization or consistency in the process?
Well, I think since we've all really worked together, we have a 5-year facility plan that'll just X what we're spending, similar to a textbook replacement program.
Okay.
It's a playbook for your facilities,
Okay.
for your paving, for your roofs, for your lights, for your windows. I mean, we have 900 windows that we have to address,
Yeah.
and we're 25% of the way there. So, you know, there'll be a lot of items moving forward that you're gonna spend that are not those items that everyone's going to see, but infrastructure have to get done, and that's what we're trying to do. And there will be a playbook that would be passed on to the next person.
Okay.
So what's the general lifespan of when you resurface a gym floor? How often do you really go down all the way
I'd say
to the
I would
baseboards
probably
as
defer to
opposed to
Mr.
just?
Right, I would say I would defer to Mr. Pacina, depending on the gym floor. And ours, our gyms are used for a multitude of things. It's just not boys basketball. We're using it for STEM and everything else. So I would probably say down to the wood, probably 6, 7 years. You know, and then you would repaint it maybe every 3rd year or 4th year to make it crisp. And an arena where, you know, if a visiting team comes in, now the lights are nice and bright.
Yeah.
The bleachers come down. We're looking now to get, we just had Crosby, which is a big player and manufacturer of athletics, to look at the adjustable rims. You know, the kids are getting bigger, we're starting to play more competitive. So a lot of schools, Watchung Hills, you'll see the rims, if you grab it, it just comes down on a spring and goes back up. It's an inexpensive solution, but just makes it a little nicer for, you know, for basketball. So we're looking at those type of items, and if we could do it, since we're having such a good year this year, we would try to get as much as we can into the, you know, the 21-22 school budget.
Okay. Any other questions for Dan? Okay.
And to go back to my point from last meeting where I was resoundingly shut up. You say we're doing really well this year. Will any of that cut away from our expenditures for next year?
I think
And those that are cut away, are they being backfilled with something else?
Mr. Pacina is he's starting his 5-year facility plan, and the number is a phone number. So it's going to accelerate our long-range facility plan, getting to the end of the road, as opposed to doing it in 12 years. We may be able to do it in 9 years. So that's the strategy we're using, because all of these things, it's an ongoing process, that it's not as if you sealed your driveway residentially, you don't have to address it for the next 10 years. It's then you have the windows or the garage doors or a burglar system. It just goes on and on. So we're looking to really accelerate the process of infrastructure over the next 5 to 10 years.
That's great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Comments from the public on agenda items? Okay. All right, resolutions. Karen, will you please move in the minutes, item number 1?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo?
Yes.
Mrs. Case?
Yes. Danielle, will you move in financials, items 2 through 9?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo?
Yes.
Mrs. Case?
Yes. Anne, will you move in special education, items 10 through 13?
So moved.
Second.
Question? Roll call?
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo?
Yes.
Mrs. Case?
Yes. Matt, will you move in personnel, items 14 through 17?
So moved.
Second.
Question? Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo?
Yes.
Mrs. Case?
Yes. Tom, will you move in curriculum, item 18?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo?
Yes.
Mrs. Case?
Yes. Alex, will you move in policy, items 19 through 20?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo?
Yes.
Ms. Case?
Yes. Just thank Karen and the committee for all of your work on this. You guys are really doing a terrific job. Melissa, will you move in other items 21 through 22?
So moved.
Second?
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. DeJamos?
Yes.
Mr. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskopf?
Yes.
Ms. Nyquist?
Yes.
Ms. Ruvalo? Mrs. Case?
Yes. Okay, any items for discussion, old business? Any new business?
I just want to confirm, May 3rd.
You want to vote on it, Karen?
Our old business has been,
Yeah.
you know,
Works for.
intermediate business, I don't know. Okay, fine, just confirm it, so everybody mark it down. Great.
Okay.
And I just want to bring up one item. My son went to the play. He said it was wonderful Saturday night, which is a point of how do we get lights on in the parking lot when we have after-school activities? It's a little dark.
What school?
I know they're on, it was at Millington. Or
Central.
I know it's something in the past. I know they're all on timers. I don't know if you can change it, but there are a lot of people in that parking lot.
We've been struggling. We put the lights on, and then we have 3 or 4 community neighbors that are complaining that the light should come off. So we're trying to find a happy medium. We've been lighting up the back of the school where our custodians have to go out and empty into the dumpsters. So we're trying to be cooperative to our neighbors and trying to keep shutting the lights down at an earlier time and putting them on a little bit later, because every time we run them, we're getting emails and calls the next day.
Because
At
they
Central.
had, yeah,
Really?
we should have,
It shines.
we should have made a note though about the performance, and we
Right.
neglected to do that, I think.
Yeah.
That was a mistake, because we've been, like Dan said, shifting which lights were on, so they're not shining in people's yard, but we should have
Should've just left them
acknowledged
on.
that the night of the play, we shouldn't have gone to turning them off. So it's not that they're not working, it was actually a conscious decision, and we forgot about the play. So that's on us.
May I ask, is there a potential to put a hood on the light?
We put a shield on, we made it a shoebox, and it's still projecting straight across into their bedroom.
That's not fun.
I also just want to make a comment about the play. I went with my daughter and a bunch of other third and second grade girls, and it was phenomenal. I was so impressed by the play. One complaint: they need to stay and sign autographs afterwards. Because my daughter and her friends were so obsessed to get their autographs, especially the one for Miss Honey and Matilda. And it was the amount of work that went into that was just so overwhelming. And to see that there was such a program like that existed at the middle school level. You could see it was no easy feat, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great activity for people to go to in town, and really impressive to see the work and the dedication that went into it.
Okay.
So a
And
note for next year: autographs
And lights.
and lights. I don't know if I walk in
Wouldn't
the
have been,
dark. I want autographs.
you don't need them tripping on the way out.
maybe next year we can offer complimentary tickets to them so that they come to the show and the lights
And they don't have to
bother
be
them.
inside in their house.
Any comments from the public? I'll just put my mom hat on real quick. I just want to say that last week, Miss Giordano got married, and she's a third grade teacher, and she's my son's teacher, and she actually invited the whole class to her wedding. And it was just so beautiful. Like, some of the kids were so cute. They said this is the first wedding they've ever been to. And they were really well behaved, and it was a beautiful wedding. And just, she had such emotion seeing the kids and took a beautiful picture with them. And I just think it goes to show like what special teachers we have here in Long Hill. So just want to point to that. All right. If nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourning to executive.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
2
don't
weeks.
have that.
So we added executive session, and Dan can read the motion for negotiations.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't really have it.
You don't have one in front
Does
of you.
anyone have a prior agenda with them?
So,
have it
motion
with
to
me.
go to executive
Executive
session for the purposes of negotiation as soon as information, there will be no action taken, and we will release any information as soon as possible.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Okay.